Hi, this is Steve Huntsberger from the Indian Valley Chamber of Commerce, and I am pleased to welcome all of our listeners today to the presentation from One SEO and BCG. And we have a great series of webinars set up today that will be just the beginning. And at this point, I'd like to do two housekeeping pieces. The first is, would you please make sure that you mute your phones so we don't hear any extraneous sounds. And then also, during the course of the presentation, if you have any questions, we'd like to keep those to the end. In your GoToMeeting box pop-up, there is a place to click on chat. You can enter any questions you have in that chat box. That'll go to the presenters, and they'll be able to address your questions at the very end. So I am happy to introduce to you all Tom Berge and Bill Rosell. So I'll let them take it away.
Hey, thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, all. My name is Tom Berge. I am owner of Berge Creative Group. We are a design and marketing agency located in the Chapel in Harleysville for nearly 25 years now. And recently we were named the first official licensed agency partner with One SEO, one of the country's largest and fastest growing digital marketing firms, and they're located in Bristol, PA. And I'm really excited to introduce everyone to our expanded team's capabilities and expertise to help your businesses grow and thrive online. With that, I'll pass the mic to Bill Rosell. He's our VP of Client Relations with One SEO, and he will guide you through the first episode of our series, SEO, your website, search engine optimization, the must-dos and don'ts. So everyone, Bill Rosell.
Thanks, Tom and Steve. Very excited, obviously, to be presenting today to the members of the Indian Valley Chamber and this four-part webinar series that we'll be running over the next 4 weeks as it applies to different digital marketing strategies that will help you to grow and look to improve the quality of leads that you're getting to your business. So first and foremost, just a quick update on who I am. I'm Bill Rosell, and I'm the Vice President of Client Relations with One SEO. We're a full-service digital agency based in Bristol. We've been in business for the last 11 years and have spoken all over the country at different events on digital marketing. We have just come off of 2 recent U.S. Search Awards. The value of the U.S. Search Awards these are very different than any other type of awards that you might be granted. They're based on the data and blind surveyed as far as the results. And the two categories that we won out of the 13 nominations that we had were in Best Mobile PPC Campaign, as well as Best Use of Search in the Third Sector for 1-800-GAMBLER. So very, very excited to be in this webinar series over the next 4 weeks. And so today, what we are looking to focus and what we'll be covering is growing your business and brand with digital marketing strategies. And some of the key points that I hope to cover and hope for you to get an educational session today that will allow you to evaluate how you're moving forward in 2020 as far as setting yourself up for a better digital marketing presence that will allow your brand to be telling its story to your business. Understanding the buyer's journey a little more than maybe you understand it before, talking about search engine optimization, content marketing, and how to maximize your return on investment through the different digital strategies that you take on. Today, telling your story in creative matters more than ever. There's so many different aspects that are flowing at us at any given point in time that it's important that you recognize how creative in what you're doing and telling your company's story is going to set the difference for how your company is recognized and viewed. If we looked at really where a Chamber of Commerce marketer's fantasy as far as straightforward signals, it used to be, hey, I'm inspired by a video ad featuring an expert technician in some way, shape, or form. I see it, okay? I see the ad. I click on the ad. Then I land on a page of the website, and then I ultimately convert by getting a lead form and submission. Unfortunately, folks, this is a pipe dream. a fantasy as far as the way that the world works today. And if you're not maximizing and understanding specifically what the true method is, it's just really not that simple. The journey is kind of very different. Somebody can start their search on mobile. Next, making it to a desktop. From the desktop, starts to complete the journey. Oh, checks out while they're hanging out with friends. Comes back to researching other companies. Sees the ad again and converts. Very much a full approach to specifically seeing where digital marketing is taken. It's just not that simple anymore to be in an environment where you have one channel that brought you the phone book. I need an emergency service. I needed to find a new bank. I needed to find a home remodeling. I needed to find an air conditioning. I went to the Yellow Pages. I opened up the Yellow Pages, and then all of a sudden I found it. I made a phone call and converted. The world's much different because of the distractions that we have from mobile to desktop. 93% of all emails are started and answered on 2 different devices. Probably some of you are actually sitting there as an email is coming in on your phone while you're watching this webinar and looking at the email. The world's changed, and we have to change with it as marketers to be able to do what's necessary to set yourself up for a great campaign. So, how do you set yourself up for success? The first thing is that we want you to recognize is the importance of doing your homework to make sure that you have the right information to be able to set yourself up for what are the things that you want to be found and then chosen for. There's a lot of great tools that are out there that can help you to determine that. Google Trends, it's a free tool that allows you to identify the times, days of the week, and years when searches happen in your marketplace for services, where they're most popular and where they get ahead, okay? Where the interest is over time, where the average is, okay? So that you can make the educated decisions that will allow you to say, what should I be determining and what goes into my strategy? Because if you don't make those decisions, you could be going after the wrong type of terms to facilitate what people are looking for to choose you. Another great thing is that you can use Google AdWords search volume, okay? Take advantage of the search trends. This is a great example of showing the relative popularity of search terms relating to contractors in Nevada over a 12-month period, okay? The interesting thing is that you would think in Nevada, okay, and I picked this for a reason, okay, that the term of air conditioning repair isn't the most searched term, okay? There are different terms that come back, and when you look at that volume of where do I go after, it is going to set the foundation for where you go as far as establishing what is a search engine optimization strategy. Okay, and there are a lot of different functions and components that we're going to talk about through the process of the presentation today to have an effective SEO strategy. First and foremost, okay, you need to understand that no website can stand alone without a strong backbone. That backbone is the foundation for what's in the code on your site and off your site, and that's known as technical SEO. Okay, without having it, Google comes and reads and indexes your website. And if you don't do the things that you need to do within the site architecture and structure, as well as the supporting content, and then the supporting link building that goes along with it, you're going to find yourself in a position that you're not going to be as relevant. Google receives over 63,000 searches per second on any given day. 63,000, okay? And 91% of any service-based business starts on Google with a search. Now I want to break that down to you and take it to one additional step. In those 63,000 searches per second, okay, there are over 1 billion searches per day on Google. And the interesting stat is, with over 1 billion searches, there are 15% of those searches that query, okay, has never been seen before. It's never been seen before on Google. So it's more key than ever that you're constantly updating these important factors that are going to allow you to come back within the organic results of Google, okay? And we're going to talk about some of these things. Ranking factors. How do you come back in the natural search results, okay? Not paying for it, not coming back locally, but how do you come back in those 10 spots in Google that Google finds you to be the most relevant and authoritative online, okay? And there's probably about 4 to 5 major factors that we can look at over the course of time that are going to ultimately help you to understand where you want to go as far as the search engine optimization strategy. First of all, what you're doing from an on-page and an off-page SEO. Number 2 is what's your backlink structure that you currently have to your site? Is your site mobile friendly and fully responsive because Google is mobilely indexing your site before it is from a desktop standpoint, okay? If you're in the process of designing a new site, which we'll go into in a later webinar series in the month of November, okay? You have to think about the important things of how does my site come back? Mobilely first, desktop second, because that's the way Google's indexing. And then what is the user intent when they're coming to your site, and how does it play out from a business standpoint? So a few things that you want to make sure your website does not get lost in the noise, okay? First and foremost, I already talked a little bit about it. What's the keyword research that's coming back, okay? So, that you're going to be going after. What are those terms that you want that page to be relevant for? And how does that page set up to specifically put you in the best possible position to tell Google that you are the authoritative aspect in that particular area that will allow you to be ranked and indexed? Your competitors and the competitor analysis of who's there and who's not is going to be your blueprint for understanding when you do a term like expert plumbers in Philadelphia. Well, we know guaranteed plumbing and heating, Google's finding them to be the most relevant and authoritative outside of Yelp as a localized business. This guy's telling you what the blueprint is. Then you can start to reverse engineer it and do the right things that will help you to put your case together to say to Google, I'm important, I'm relevant, I want to be the ones that come back for that search results, okay? Link building. Link building is a way that from another site, there is a link to your site. A perfect example of a backlink is if you go to the Indian Valley Chamber of Commerce website, you're going to probably more than likely find a link for your business. The chamber has a high credibility and a high trust value, so Google ranks that very high. So when you have a competitive advantage over people who aren't members of the chamber, and the ability to say, I have a backlink built from a high credibility website. Another way of making sure that your off-page SEO is in realm. In addition to making sure that you have consistent citations. What is a localized citation? A localized citation is specifically making sure that your name, address, and phone number appear consistent across a multitude of channels. If you go to yellowpages.com and you see different, this is a good example of a local citation aggregator that pushes out content as it applies to specifically stating what your name, address, and phone number is. Does it match what's on your website? If there's confusion, that is going to hurt you when somebody's looking for a localized search in your marketplace. One of the most important and relevant factors that has been consistently talked about in the space is how does your Google My Business page bring back relevancy for you, okay? First and foremost, the one-page website is now when somebody types your name into Google. Look at how the results come back when somebody's Googling your business. There aren't too many people, whether they be business owners of the chamber or other business owners, that say, all my leads come through referrals. Okay, referrals my greatest and number one source of helping my business grow. Okay, well, if people don't know about you, they've heard about you, and they're thinking about utilizing you from a standpoint of your product or your service. If you took the opportunity to Google, do you see everything that you want to come back? How many 4-star reviews do you have? How are you managing those reviews? Are you making posts within the searchable content of Google? Are you getting insights? People are asking questions directly about your business. Are you sharing photos? Are you allow bookings to happen? All ways that directly in your Google My Business page, how is it optimized and what is it saying about you? I highly recommend that if you have any questions about that particular aspect, you can talk to either Tom or myself at a later date and time, and we'll make sure that you have the right insight to where your business should be as far as a Google My Business page. Because there's a tremendous amount of information, okay, about how customers are searching for your business. Did they find your listing through the business name or address? Did they go discovering and looking for your product or service? Okay, were customers looking for branded searches? These are all insights that are coming back when people are looking for this particular client in Hutchinson and Atlantic County, New Jersey. So it's very important to not only say, hey, I have a great search engine optimization strategy, but I have a great local SEO strategy that's going to allow me to tell Google what I want it to be told as it applies to what I want Google to think about. And why is that? Because Google's smart enough to know through its artificial intelligence that it's a situation where if you don't tell it what it wants, it'll interpret what it thinks you should be. And why would you want anybody giving your 1-minute elevator pitch other than you? So very, very important to make sure that your Google My Business page, your reviews, all searchable content, you want to make sure that is happening specifically for you. Reputation management. 91% of all searches that were looking for a product, okay, looked at online reviews to how important that is to a business. This air conditioning contractor in Radiant Plumbing in Austin, Texas, one client of One SEO, they have 3,100 reviews, okay? 3,100 4.8-star reviews. Now, if you were looking for a new HVAC company in your marketplace, how many reviews do you have? Are they saying the things that you want people to say about your business so that it makes it easier for that person who doesn't know about your business to choose? Because 84% of those people trust an online review as much as a personal recommendation in today's world. So the critical aspect is you're not only managing from a SEO standpoint, but you're managing it from a local SEO, and you're having people tell the power of your brand ahead of it. Remember, creative matters more than ever. Artificial intelligence, okay? I talked about this a little bit earlier, is that Google's search engine algorithm is about artificial intelligence. 3 years ago, if you went and asked somebody at Google what they were about, it was about a mobile-first environment. Now it's about AI and artificial intelligence and trying to understand what the end user wants before the end user finishes saying it. Have anybody of you ever noticed that when you go to type into the Google search browser, you start typing something and it's bringing back results as you're typing it in based upon it's predictive modeling what you are going to say based on the thousands and thousands of data points that it gathers and the number of times that you touch Google on a daily basis. Okay, so you have to understand this is where the importance of what the content strategy that you have as far as where the artificial intelligence is, because voice search is the next hot topic. Okay, it's one of the newest trends in how people search. Siri, find me a restaurant. Alexa, find me a restaurant. Looking for a bank near me. Okay, and you have to look at the way that the content is in representing specifically what you're saying to the site. The only real reason that you haven't seen more voice search being optimized from a paid standpoint is because people want options. Well, in voice search, you can only give back one option. And so that makes it very difficult, and it also for them to monetize it. And remember, Google is a search engine second, a paid situation first. They made $73 billion last quarter. Why? They make it on their paid ads. And I'm going to bet that probably 70% of the people on this call right now will never look at a paid ad. That's because 30% are going through a paid, 70% are going through organic. That's why it's so important to have a great organic strategy. Yeah, think about it. They made $73 billion on only 30% of the search volume. It's pretty impressive to know how the engine's working and how you can maximize. It is a real estate land grab. I have clients that come to me all the time and say, hey, now that I'm on the first page of Google, should I kill my PPC? I'm like, absolutely not. Okay? Why wouldn't you want the opportunity to be there a multitude times? There's only 17 spots on the first page of Google. And if you're not doing everything you can to facilitate getting as much of that real estate as absolutely possible, you're going to put yourself in a position where your competition is going to take it from you. As I talked about, content marketing is a very important piece of the puzzle. You need to position yourself as a trusted source of valuable information. Offering actionable information to your audience really will allow them to see you as the expert. Different ways of doing it: blogs, video graphics, infographics, different ways that make it visually appealing, that capture and allows that person to be able to interact with your business. Google's making it out there, as you saw in the Google My Business, okay? One of the things that it asked you was, ask me a question. There were 17 questions that were asked through the course of that Google My Business page to that person over the last 30 days. Share your knowledge of what you're doing in your content strategy, specifically to what you're telling those other search platforms or social platforms: Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, okay? Because it's important to be able to share your information, because the journey doesn't stop with just Google. It's over a multitude of channels. All of this strategy and structure, homework, SEO efforts, content writing, okay, it doesn't mean a hill of beans unless you track and you report your information in the right way, okay? And there's a lot of great ways to know how your website's performing for you. First and foremost, you want to understand your Google Analytics. This is your P&L to your website. I'm sure there's not a business owner that's on this phone that doesn't look at their QuickBooks on a daily basis. The same way you should be looking at your traffic to your website on a weekly basis. How is it coming in? How's that data being collected? What's the behavior? This is a third door into your business, and it helps you to track the results and understand where your return on investment is. John Wanamaker said it best: half of all advertising and marketing works. It's a matter of my responsibility is to find out which half works and which half doesn't, and put more money into the money of the half that works. Call tracking. In today's day and age, this is such an invaluable tool to identify, train, and develop, okay? Train and develop your sales teams, your receptionists, your gatekeepers, whoever answers your phone. If you think for 1 second, and it's not you, that they answer and they buy your business the same way that you do, shame on you. You should be listening and shopping the business religiously to hear what's being said, so that way you can take it and put it back into your marketing strategy. Because businesses that use call tracking software will find that they discovered 50% more leads come from the telephone. It's still the most valuable people. People are like, I don't want to, the millennials do not want to pick up the phone, okay? That's where you have to be able to look and say specifically what's happening as far as the data collection. The data doesn't lie. people lie about the data. So what are some key takeaways from today's call? Okay. First and foremost, let's reach a broader audience with an integrated strategy, SEO, content marketing. Okay. It will help you to get more qualified leads. Okay. In addition to that, stay connected with your potential customers because this will help you to own your backyard. The more information that you put out there that shows that you're the relevant authority online, the more authority that you'll show in the new leads that come to your business. So with that being said, we have some time for a Q&A. You can either unmute and ask a question. I'll do my best to answer it, or you can put it right in. Oh, I got a question from Steve. All right. Steve, you asked the question, I want to drive more people or searches to my website, but I don't know where to start. What do you recommend? Well, the first thing is that I would say is understand what kind of strategy you have in place first. Do you have a comprehensive strategy that relies on search engine optimization, pay-per-click management, social media management? And I think that the most important thing is to understand where your business is and where your business wants to go. And then you put a marketing strategy behind getting yourself those particular new leads. There's no doubt, okay, that each one of you that's on this call, you can do a search query, and there are people that are buying for your traffic. They might even be bidding on your brand. What I would recommend is if you have questions, by all means, we'd be happy between Tom and myself to do a complimentary audit for you, to be able to say, hey, this is what we see based upon what the data is showing us. What is your analytics? Maybe you don't have access to it. We can use some third-party tools that'll show you what the terms that you're relevant for. Specifically, what kind of spends that you have on the social end. What do you need to add? What does it cost for your particular service? The cost per click on a heating and air conditioning contractor locally, they're spending anywhere from 40 to 80 bucks a click, not a call, a click. But every business ranges differently. A bank might be different. Mortgage is different, okay? But it's about understanding what you need to invest to make that marketing aspect move forward.
Steve, we have a couple of clients that have asked in the past. They have somebody doing Facebook in the office. How would that help their organic SEO?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things that you have to understand. First and foremost, okay, if you are doing a social media strategy, okay, that you have your nephew working in your office, and that nephew is in a situation where he's posting about Johnny's 5-year anniversary in your office, okay? The first thing that I would go and ask you to do is look at how many people have liked your page, okay? And let's say for the sake of argument, in this particular case, the business A that you've asked us about has 1,000 people that have liked their page. Facebook is only pushing that out to 10% of its feed, okay? When you have good, strong engagement as far as people liking, people sharing, people moving it forward, you're sending social triggers back to the search engine. However, the big challenge with Facebook is if you don't put budget behind reaching more people, you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to be able to get those social signals. Please remember, social media and Facebook, they are now a publicly traded company, so they have to produce revenue results, okay? That's why from a Google standpoint, your interaction with your Google My Business, it's all searchable content. Person A tells the story about the chamber online and what the chamber represents, okay? It's searchable content, all good particular pieces of information. So what does that all mean? It means that you have to be in a scenario where you have a comprehensive strategy that helps those social signals get back to the search engine for what you're doing in another platform. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, that's perfect. We also get a lot of what does writing a blog really do for our business? That's a big one.
Well, writing a blog is critical. I always try to relate it back to and put it into everyday terms. If you just put your content on your site and you let it sit there, okay, it's like going into Applebee's every Friday night, okay, wearing the same clothes, coming in at the same time. You become norm. You become stale. Google wants to see you're putting fresh, relevant content out to the site and writing content that's specific to what's going on in your business to show that you're the authority online. So it's very, very critical to put the best foot forward to be able to tell the search engine what you're all about and what you're doing and what it's making a difference on your product. Typical blogs on a localized business should be anywhere from 400 to 600 words of content. And you should have the right keyword density within there. So you're not looking like you're saying, Dennis Harleysville, Dennis Harleysville, Dennis Harleysville, Dennis Harleysville. You want to have a good, strong aspect to what that blog's about.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Mary Ellen asked the question, what's a good percentage of engagement of your blog postings? So I'm going to answer that question, Mary Ellen, very, very simply. It's not about the relevancy of the amount of people that are engaging with the blog. Okay, it's about the relevancy of what that blog represents and the value that that blog brings to your particular business and how your business is affected by the blog. If you don't internally link whatsoever, let's say you write a blog, okay, and that blog has 600 words of content, okay, the blog doesn't have the ability to capture any particular information other than people commenting on the blog, okay? It's not providing any value to your site because you're going to get traffic from it, but I'm almost willing to bet that you're not going to get conversions from it. Blogs are meant to be internally linked to a site. And that's where you want to make sure that you have a good strategy that you're linking internally from the blog back to the page that should be relevant for your site. Marianne, I hope I answered the question. It's not, like I said, it's not about specifically how many postings or specifically engagements that you're getting on a blog. It's more about the content and the relevancy to the page that you're writing the blog about. Tom writes, oh, you're welcome. Tom writes, we get this question a lot from clients. How do I get more reviews? Well, first of all, you got to do a great job. And then secondly, you got to ask for the review. If it's a situation where you have employees that are out in the field or they're touching base with clients, a good way to do it is to spit the employee to ask for the review. Hey, I'll give you a $5 Wawa card for every time you ask a client for a review, and then they give one. Great way to get people to engage. Go online. There's different tools that are out there, like a Podium. A Podium is a tool that you can use, okay, that every time that you have an interaction with a client, you literally can send them a text message. They click on the link and they have a direct feed and integration to your Google My Business page. If you're a service-based business in some way, shape, or form, and you're not asking for reviews, shame on you. Shame on you. There's a company based out of Salt Lake City. I can't wait to get to your question, Courtney. There's a company out of Salt Lake City called Any Hour Heating and Air. Okay, they have over 7,350 5-star Google reviews. Okay, the way that they handle it is every person, they train their employees to ask for the review. When somebody walks in, they say specifically, listen, Mr. Customer, my job today is to give you 5-star service. If at any point that I don't give you that 5-star service, then I want you to stop me and explain to me what you need to do for me to give you the 5-star service. Okay. At the end of the experience that I'm about to give you, if I do meet all of those qualifications, I'm going to ask you to give me a review. Does that make sense? And they by far have more reviews than any other HVAC company in the country. So I often say you have to train your employees to do the things you want them to do without knowing they're doing. And I think that starts with anybody's culture. Courtney asks, what are your thoughts about Yelp for a review tool, and have you had issues that they weren't confirmed? So my feelings on Yelp. You're asking a personal question versus a professional question. I'm not a fan of the platform because you really truly can't combat certain situations on Yelp like you can on other platforms. I think the platform has a negative connotation to it as far as people look more to tell negative stories on that particular platform versus telling positive stories. If you look at the number of reviews you see on Yelp where people are complaining about a situation versus being in a situation where they're touting the business, it's just not the platform, and their rankings have gone down over time where they're coming back. If somebody's looking for a restaurant in Harleysville, they're going to have a strong organic presence, okay? But you can also do the same thing on other platforms and get the same results. I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't invest money in it and really try to keep it as politically correct on that one as possible. I'm not really sure if I answered your question, but I wouldn't utilize it as a review tool. All right, you're welcome. Any other questions? Well, first and foremost, I want to let everybody know that One SEO is having a conference called the One Conference. It's the best in IT and digital marketing. Will be taking place on 11/11. Pardon me for the shameless plug, but it'll be a great opportunity for anybody that has some more questions on digital. It's going to be in Bristol, a free event, and we would love to have anybody that's a member of the chamber there. And Tom and Steve, I appreciate your times today. And I look forward to our next week's series on pay-per-click management and making sure you have effective campaigns running for your business.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks very much, Bill. And everyone, we'll get the information out for the next webinar ASAP. We want to make sure that you get that in plenty of time so you can get that on your calendar. So you really provided some good information today. As you know, this is way outside my wheelhouse. So whenever anybody can bring this information to me in a usable form, I really appreciate it. This was really unpacked and usable for me today. And I got questions for you later. So thanks. And Tom, I don't know if you have any parting words.
No, just thank you everybody for attending, and we're looking forward to answering any questions over the next few days. If you have them, shoot them over. You can visit us at oneseobcg.com, and we will make sure we get you all the answers needed.
Great. All right. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you on the next webinar. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.